Mhm. Mhm. All right. We're gonna go. No one can see me. I am here, but for some reason you all cannot see me.
Yeah, we
Let
can hear you though.
that's not quite good enough. Let me I'm going to sign out and come right back. Thank you, everyone. Hold one moment, please.
Judge, you are muted. Oh, she can't.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
You can.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Some extreme technical difficulties today. So everyone, please bear with me. This is the state expedited accusations calendar in the state court of Fulton County, Georgia. I am Judge Melanie Williams. At this calendar today, we will address matters such as setting bonds, and other matters as necessary. This calendar is for those individuals who have been recently arrested, but the cases have already been formally accused and bound over to state court. All defendants, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say regarding the facts of your case can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney today. As you can see, this proceeding is being broadcast over the internet as a live stream. It's also being recorded. That means any member of the public can log on and watch. When I ask if you understand your rights, those are the rights to which I am referring. All right, who do we have first?
Position 6, Hicks.
All right. And I'm joining from a secondary device with no video, Miss Grace. So if you can ask to let that device in as well. Thank you. All right, good afternoon. Are you Akira Hicks? Is that a yes? Please speak loudly.
Yeah.
Your case is 23 CR 006431H. In this case, you're charged with criminal trespass. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have that history, please?
Yeah. 7 total. Last arrest was in November. Theft by taking. Got an open financial transaction card theft. Open battery DV, regular battery, simple battery, trespass, obstruction, another trespass, and possession of a Schedule 1 out of the cab. That's it.
All right, thank you. Mr. Thomas, your recommendation?
Good morning, Your Honor. Your Honor, the facts of the case is that on October 8, 2023, the officer was assigned to a case on where a patron, Sherelle Newton, also a MARTA employee, Ms. Newton reported that she had been verbally harassed and hit on her knee by another patron on October 6, 2023. On October 10, 2023, the officer conducted an investigation via CCTV where he found that the defendant exited the train at approximately 2:48, and at approximately 2:52, the defendant forced the fare gate open, allowing other patrons to enter the station without paying. The defendant talked to Newton on the southbound platform. The defendant appeared to be touching the dog that Ms. Newton had. Ms. Newton was blind and she used the dog for assistance. The defendant sat with Ms. Newton on October 19, 2023. The defendant was interviewed and confirmed talking to Ms. Newton, but denied making any physical contact with her. Officer later learned that the defendant had an active 365-day suspension from all MARTA properties. The suspension was issued on August 15, 2022, and was effective June 11, 2023, and it was set to expire on June 11, 2024. Your Honor, the recommendation from the state is going to be a signature bond through the pretrial services. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, a stay away from all MARTA stations. I believe there, and specifically that MARTA station is the Civic Center train station located at 435 West Peachtree Street, Northwest Atlanta, Georgia. Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
All right, I do want to sound for the alleged victim. What was the alleged victim's name?
I did not sound, but we can sound. The victim is not actually a victim. It's technically a witness, as this is a criminal trespass, but the person mentioned is Cheryl Newton. So we can also sound for that person in accordance to Marcy's law, but they're not a victim in this case.
Okay, based upon that, we will not sound for Ms. Newton. All right, Ms. Adams, I'm assuming this is your case?
Yes, Your Honor. And
All right.
the defense doesn't have any objection to the signature bond.
All right, in light of the information before me, I'm inclined to grant that SOB with the stay away from MARTA, and you say you have no objections or anything additional to add to the record?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
All right, defendant will receive a $4,000 SOB through the jail. She's to stay away from all MARTA and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition of that SOB. She will be reset for the notice. Anything additional from state or defense?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing further from defense, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you. That concludes your case. Who do we have next?
Position 5, Henry.
I'm sorry.
Position 5, Henry.
Okay, and there was another question. All right, good afternoon, Ms. Henry. Your case is 23 CR 006437G. You're charged with simple assault and simple battery family violence. Do you understand your right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Howard, can I have that history?
First arrest.
All right, thank you. Mr. Thomas?
Your Honor, the facts of this case is that on October 19, 2023, officer responded to a domestic dispute at the incident location. That incident location being 220 26th Street, Northwest Atlanta, Georgia. The victim advised that he was waking up from a nap when his significant other, the defendant, started a physical altercation with him. Victim also stated that he has been living at that location with the defendant for several months. The victim advised that the defendant got upset with him because of some text messages that she saw and that appeared on his phone. The victim stated that the defendant proceeded to physically attack him multiple times, hitting him, putting him in a headlock, and even spitting on him a few times. The victim further advised that the defendant was in possession of a knife during the incident. The victim stated that he had to hold the defendant's arms back, take the knife out of her hand, and throw it behind the refrigerator to prevent any further issues. The victim advised that the defendant did not physically attack him with the knife. However, the victim did state that the incident was recorded, and the majority of the incident was recorded on his iPhone, to which the officer observed while at the scene. The footage clearly showed the defendant physically attacking the victim multiple times, and the footage also showed the defendant in possession of a knife during the incident. Neither the victim nor the defendant had any injuries as a result of the incident. Our office was able to get in contact with the victim who corroborated the statements in the warrant and advised that they are in a relationship, they live together, and they share no children. The victim states that he still wants contact with the defendant and he wants her to return back to the resident. I believe he is on the call at this time. So after we give our recommendation, if we could sound for the victim in accordance to Marcy's law. But the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, $1,500 on each count, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with the victim, stay away from the incident location, and the completion of a family violence intervention program. And specifically, Your Honor, the victim's name is Nicholas, traditional spelling, Wynn, W-Y-N-N.
Okay. All right, Mr. Wynn, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I am not sentencing anyone today. I am merely setting a bond. So if you disagree with what Mr. Thomas said, that is not what I'm most concerned with. I'm most concerned with your desire for contact or any concerns you have for your safety. But I will let you make a statement. In light of those instructions, what would you like to tell me?
Just I don't as far as desire to contact, like I'm not in fear of my life. Like I don't have any safety concerns with her. Like I know he just previously stated I had to wrestle the knife out of her hand. I did not. She actually put it down, and then that's when I kind of tossed it behind her refrigerator. She didn't attempt to lunge at me with it or no time. Fear of my safety. I kind of wanted to de-escalate the situation, so she called them, and it kind of backfired because I had to present information to prevent myself from getting arrested. Things that were stated to the dispatcher and to the officers for them to come out that weren't true. So to keep me from being arrested, I had to present them with the video evidence that I had. And I think they looked at the video evidence that was in the home too, because it's a home camera here as well. But I never asked them to come out. I never asked them to take her to jail. Like I begged them not to. because I didn't think it was necessary. Like I said, because I didn't get hurt. I'm not physically injured, not in fear of my life. Like I still love her at the end of the day. And I didn't think it would escalate to that situation. So that's all I have to say. If I don't know if this is the time and place now to say that I don't want to press any charges, but eventually, if this is not the time and place, whenever we do have court, like I'm not pressing any charges because I'm not hurt, I'm not injured, I'm not scared of my life, and I don't have any desire to bring any type of charges against her.
All right, thank you. Ms. Adams?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Miss Henry, she's originally from California, but she's been living in Georgia for the last 6 years. She has a high school diploma. She has a car, a driver's license. She's even volunteered doing some volunteer work at a nearby food bank during the holidays. And also to Judge, she is gainfully employed. Ms. Henry has been working for a company called Global, as a global account executive for the last 2 years. And with regards to that, the fact that this is the very first time she's ever been arrested in life, and the fact that Mr. Nguyen has stated that he does not have any concerns for his safety, and that he would actually wish for her to come home, Your Honor, we are requesting a signature bond. We're requesting a signature bond. I believe that Ms. Henry will be okay with any other decisions that the court chooses to make as it relates to that.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Just point out, Your Honor, that the incident date was yesterday, and so I don't believe that there's been a sufficient amount of cooling off period.
Okay.
If I may, I'm sorry, Your Honor, if I may, Your Honor.
We're going to move forward. At
Okay.
this time, is going to receive a $4,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. She's going to take the 1-day anger awareness course and have no further violent contact with the alleged victim. Additionally, she should have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition of that SLB through pretrial. And it's $2,000 each count. All right?
What was that contract again?
No further violence.
Okay. And she was recommended.
Oh, well, I said
She was. Okay.
I gave it to you. It's through pretrial.
Thank you.
All right. Best of luck to you, Ms. Henry. Who do we have next?
Position 8, Smith.
All right. Good afternoon. Are you Sebastian Smith? Is that a yes? All right. Your case is 23 CR 006433D. You're charged with loitering and prowling and obstruction. Do you understand your rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
13 total. Last arrest was in September. Possession of cocaine. We got an open possession of a Schedule 1. Loitering and prowling. On probation for trespass and obstruction. He got theft from this year, 2022, a couple of them. 2013. Got simple battery arrest from 2021. Trespass from this year as well. And a hold out of Washington, Georgia.
Okay, understood.
I think it's an FTA one.
Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Thomas.
The facts of the case is that officer arrived and spoke with Mr. Henson, the manager of the location Routes Car Rental, who stated that he observed the defendant pulling on the door handles of a 2011 Dodge Charger, gray in color, which belonged to an employee, Mr. Pina, of the location, and he immediately called 911. Mr. Henson, again, that store manager, also informed the officer that this was not the first incident involving the defendant. The last incident occurred on Thursday, September 21st, 2023, where he was attempting to pull on vehicle doors at the same location, and the defendant had been previously criminally trespassed from that location. Officer made contact with the defendant near the Best Road and Sullivan, and when approached, the defendant provided the officer with an incorrect spelling of his name. Your Honor, given the criminal history, the state's recommendation is going to be a $2,000 surety bond. It's going to be a stay away from that Routes Car Rental located at 2144 Sullivan Road, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, my client is 31 years old, and Your Honor, he is actually residentially challenged. So I requested social worker to have a visit there in person to determine his housing resources. And we would like to request for signature on bond. And also I referred him to MMHC as well, Your Honor. That's it, Your Honor. Thanks.
All right, thank you. At this time, defendant is gonna receive a $1,500 surety bond, 1,000 count 1, 500 count 2. He's to stay away from that location on Sullivan Road and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything additional?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
That was a good
Excuse
bond.
me.
That was,
Hey, hold on.
that was a good bond, Judge.
It was.
He has a question, Judge.
I think sir, you should direct your question to Ms. Kim. She's the best one to answer it for you, okay?
I'll call you to
I was just asking why how got your signature, but I don't have any money to pay you, but I
Mr. Would you please
really need to go to the
just
doctor. This is it.
over
I'm
to-
just looking at
I'll call
I just can't.
to talk to him.
Position 3,
Come on,
folks.
man. I'm tired of this shit.
Okay, I think we need to maybe perhaps remove him. All right, is this Mr. Pronounce your last name for me? Is it Folks? Is that you, sir? All right, your case is 23 CR 006430G. You're charged with battery family violence. You understand your rights? You can nod to indicate that you do. You understand your rights? Just nod. You can nod. You're muted.
Judge,
gonna-
who is this?
Position 3. Ms. Howard, can we have this 3?
Who is it? First arrest. So he's 19 years old. I'm supposed to say he needs a co-signer, but of course that's up to you.
Okay.
He was recommended.
All right, Mr. Thomas?
Your Honor, before I begin, I just want to let the court be aware that the victim was apparently on felony first appearance, the calendar this morning. But the facts of this case is that on October 19, 2023, the officer was dispatched to the incident location, that incident location being 800 West Marietta Street, Northwest, apartment 318 in Atlanta, Georgia, in reference to a domestic dispute. The officer spoke with the victim, Dayana Smith, Dayana spelled Dayonna, Smith traditional spelling, who advised that her live-in boyfriend, the defendant, struck her in the mouth. Her lips were busted, and when asked what happened, the victim stated that she and the defendant got into a verbal argument. The victim stated that during the argument, the defendant began pushing her around and hitting her. The victim stated that she took a knife from the defendant and poked him in the back with it to scare him off. The victim stated that the knife made contact with the backpack and that the defendant was wearing. The defendant returned to the location and denied striking the victim, but confirmed her statements in regards to the knife making contact with his backpack. Your Honor, the recommendation from the state is a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with the victim, a stay away from that incident location, and the completion of a family violence intervention program. I'm not sure if the court wants to sound for Ms. Smith, but in accordance with Marcy's law, I'll leave it to the discretion of the court.
Wait, so she was arrested this morning for the same thing, or
For the knife part of it.
for the same incident? So she's
For the same
like
incident.
here anyway.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. I think I've got it. Ms. McLeod, I'm inclined to give him the signature bond, and I'm sure as a condition of her bond, there is a stay away. I'm sure, as it was the felony. Whose home whose does the home belong to?
According to the
It's
report,
already moved, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, both of you were speaking, Ms. McLeod?
My client has already moved. However, he tells me that his car was either impounded or is still there, something related to his car that he needs to get.
Okay. So
that
we'll
was
do
the state's understanding as well, Your Honor.
All right, we'll do the one-time law enforcement escort just to make sure he can get any items. All right, does he have someone that can co-sign for him, Ms. McLeod?
No, Your Honor, most of his relatives are in Michigan. He's been living here in Georgia for less than a year, he tells me, Your Honor.
All right, I'm gonna waive the co-sign requirement as he's 19 years old. Defendant's gonna receive a $6,000 SOB through pretrial. He is to take the 1-day anger awareness course and have no contact with the alleged victim / cross defendant. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. He can return to the incident location or the home one time with a member of law enforcement to get any items. Is there anything additional?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing
right.
further from the state, Your Honor.
Best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Position 7, McMillan.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. McMillan. Your case is 23 CR 006432J. You're charged with theft by taking. You understand, right? I'm assuming that's yes. Mr. Howard,
Uh,
I can't hear you, Mr. Howard. You're muted.
fourth arrest, 2019 probation, 2016 possession of marijuana, no low, and a 2015 trespass.
Okay. All right, Mr. Thomas, please proceed.
Your Honor, the facts of this case is that upon arriving, the officer met with Mr. DeWeed Yarrell, who stated that on February 11, 2023, Mr. Keith McMillan spent the night at his house. That's when Mr. McMillan inquired about a phone Mr. Yarrell had on his counter. Mr. Yarrell advised that Mr. McMillan could not have the phone. The next morning, Mr. Yisrael woke up and noticed that Mr. McMillan was no longer in his home and that the phone that the defendant inquired about was also missing. Mr. Yisrael texted the phone and Mr. McMillan texted him back advising him that he had the phone. Mr. Yisrael had made several attempts to get his phone back. Mr. McMillan stated that he would return the phone, but he did not return the phone. The victim has emailed from the phone. The victim has emailed from the phone provider advising that someone was attempting to put the phone in their name. The victim also advised the defendant has also signed into his Apple ID on the phone. The victim has text messages and emails from the phone provider. When the investigator spoke with the victim, he stated that he had text messages and other evidence showing the suspect, the defendant in this case, took the phone without his permission. The defendant has had continuous conversations with the victim about bringing back the phone through text. The victim stated that he knows he was not trying to bring back the phone because he tried to put the phone in his name. Your Honor, our office has had an opportunity to get in contact with the victim. The victim advised that he and the defendant were in an intimate partner relationship. He confirmed the events in the warrant. He also stated that the defendant never returned the phone. And he also stated that he has not seen or spoken to the defendant since the incident. I believe that he may be on the call today. So the state would like to sound for him after the request, but the request in this case is a signature bond, a stay away from the incident location, with that being 1040 Huff Road Northwest, a no further contact with the victim, Mr. Yisrael, a no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and the completion of an anti-theft course. And if at this time we can sound for the victim in this case, Mr. DeWeed, D-A-W-E-E-D, Yisrael, Y-I-S-R-A-E-L, at this time in accordance with Marcy's law.
One question. So it's alleged that he took a phone. What was the value of the phone?
One moment, Your Honor. While I look that up, is it possible to hear from the defendant? I mean, yeah, from the victim, sorry.
I'm not in a huge rush. Hold on. I'm actually looking up myself.
Okay.
Okay, I'm assuming we're not gonna find it. All right, sir, if you'd like to make a statement, please raise your right hand. Begin by stating your name.
How
State your
weak
name.
is though?
All right, do you swear when you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You didn't have, okay. What would you like to tell me? Again, I'm most concerned about contact and desire or any concerns for your safety.
Got you. I just want Mr. Keith to stay away from me, from my home, from my location, from my work location as well.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to make me aware of?
No, ma'am.
All right, I appreciate you coming to court and making that statement. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes,
Please
Your Honor. We have no objection to signature on bond, Your Honor, but we want that to be through jail. And also we object to anti-theft court. Actually, on May 25, 2023, there was a hearing for this same incident. Mr. Macmillan was the defendant at the time, and Mr. Israel was the citizen who filed for warrant application. And they both appeared, and Your Honor, the judge, Debbie Ann Rickman, clearly said application was denied because she did not find any probable cause. So this case was dismissed. I just wanted to put that on the record. And Your Honor, he is 27 years old. He's been here in Georgia for more than 7 years. He's gainfully employed at Amazon as a driver. He graduated from high school. He has no objection for stay away and no further contact. That's it, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor, our office was able to get a copy of the report. The report is silent. It specifically says an unknown amount, but it does say that the phone was an iPhone 12.
Okay, I understood. At this time, defendant will receive a $5,000 SOB through the jail. He is to have absolutely no contact with the alleged victim in this case, whether through phone, email, text, no contact whatsoever, and stay away from wherever the victim resides and works. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition of that SOB through the jail. Is there anything additional?
Nothing further from defense, Your Honor.
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Best of luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, can I just,
Mr. Macmillan, please, you have a signature on bond through jail. So please don't say anything. We don't want to hurt your case at all. I'll be happy to explain everything.
Position 4, Reynolds.
All right. Good afternoon, sir. Your case is 23 CR 00643 You're charged with battery. You understand you're right?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I have the history, Mr. Howard?
7 total. Last arrest was in February. Terroristic threats. Resident of South Carolina. 2022 malicious injury to property. 2022 assault on a female, simple assault, interference with government with emergency communication, and injury to personal property. 2018 contempt of court. 2015 unlawful carrying of a weapon conviction, and a 2014 shoplifting conviction.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm sorry. Mr. Thomas, please proceed.
Your Honor, the facts of this case is that on October 17, 2023, officer responded to Emory University Hospital Midtown in reference to a nurse assaulted by a patient at the hospital. The victim, nurse Christy Chang, stated that her patient, the defendant, was prohibited from eating or drinking due to a certain medical condition. And the nurse, Ms. Chang, entered the defendant's room to administer his medication. She noted that the defendant was attempting to eat a prohibited food item, which was candy. Nurse Chang then informed the defendant that the food was restricted and attempted to remove the prohibited item from the defendant's bed when the defendant became violent and forcibly grabbed her by her jacket, slammed her against the wall, then slammed her to the ground, causing injuries to her right knee, left rib cage, back, and a cut on her right index finger. Nurse Chang's injuries required her to be examined at the emergency room. Your Honor, our office has had an opportunity to speak with Nurse Chang, and she confirmed the events in the warrant. She also confirmed that she sustained a laceration to her finger and various cuts and bruises. The victim denies anything was broken, however. She does prefer to have no contact with the defendant. Okay, but she says that she does understand that there may need to be contact if he needs to come back to the hospital. I believe that the victim is on the call, so if after the recitation of the recommendation, we can sound for Ms. Chang, that'd be appreciated in accordance with Marcy's law. But Your Honor, specifically, this defendant is a multi-state offender. We've heard about the terroristic threats and acts out of Georgia. We've heard about the malicious injury to personal property out of South Carolina. We've heard about the assault on a female in addition to many other charges on that in 2022 in North Carolina. We believe he's posed a substantial flight risk as a result of this. We also believe that he's a danger to the community and society. And so the recommendation from the state would be a $5,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with the victim in this case, a stay away from that incident location, specifically that being the Emory University Hospital in Midtown, 550 Peachtree Street, Northeast Atlanta, Georgia, and one anger management course, Your Honor. And if at this time we can sound from Ms. Christy Chang in accordance with Marcy's law.
Okay.
How do I get the video? Oh.
1 second. 1 second. All right, Ms. Chang, if you'd like to make a statement, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right, what would you like to tell me?
I also sustained a whiplash to my neck in addition to all those other injuries. But everything else sounds about right. And I agree with all of the charges.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you coming to court and making that statement. Ms. Adams?
Yes, Your Honor, give me one moment. Yes, Your Honor. With regards to Mr. Grimmel, he is originally from South Carolina, really close to Augusta, Georgia. That's where his family is and is from. His father actually resides in Texas. I tried to reach out to his father, but I was not able to reach him. Without getting into too much detail, Mr. Grimmel has been diagnosed with a mental health.
No.
That's as far as I was going to go with that. And then with also too, he has a 9th grade education, and he has been in Georgia a few weeks. He has a driver's license, and he had intentions on going to Texas to go be with his father. And that's the reason why I was reaching out to his father to find out whether or not that would be acceptable. Also too, he has been placed on our list to be for our social workers to speak with him. So with regards to all that, Your Honor, we are requesting a signature bond. Didn't hear and nor have I seen where it shows that he would not show up for court just because he's a multi-state offender allegedly a multi-state offender does not mean he won't avail himself to the court. And so with regards to that, Your Honor, we are requesting a signature bond.
All right, defendant's gonna receive a $2,000 surety bond. He's to have no contact with Ms. Chang unless it's absolutely medically necessary within the context of the hospital. He's also to stay away from that Emory Midtown Hospital unless he is receiving medical services. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And as a reminder, he'll be reset to the November 2nd state all-purpose calendar. Is there anything further?
Excuse me, Your Honor. Is it okay if I say something?
No, the first you do is speak to Ms. Adams, who can assist you. Okay?
You should have get my wallet back in that when you're hospital. They still don't know the moment I did.
She's not gonna be able to answer that question. Judge, I do have a quick announcement
Yes,
for position number 1, waive their appearance.
okay.
For position number 2, that's a purge.
Okay. And
I believe. Oh, also position number 9, they waive their appearance as well.
okay.
Thank you. And then we're completed here in courtroom 2.
All right. Courtroom 2 can be excused. Take care. Have a good weekend. All right.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
All right. Bye bye. We'll take up the first waived appearance case, position 1. Was this the one we asked for a breakout? No, we'll go to the breakout for the other one. Let's do position 1 that doesn't require a breakout, 23 CR 00643-5F, in which defendant charged with battery, family violence, and simple battery, family violence. Can I have that history, Ms. Howard?
Are we certain, given the facts, are we certain that position 1 doesn't need a breakout?
I don't know what the facts are, but this is the defense. Is the state now requesting a breakout?
If we can, I think that there's some things inside of the facts that I want to put on the record or state, not put on the record necessarily, but state, that I think are quite sensitive.
Okay, we can go into a breakout.
You want the history?
Yeah, give me the history before we go. Give me the history for position 11 too, since we're gonna break out. We may as well do. Position 9. Give me history for both.
Williams. All right, Duval, 4th arrest, 2019 failure to appear, 2019 theft of property, 2017 simple battery DV conviction. What is that? Willow Williams, number 9,
Uh-huh.
52 total. Last arrest was on the 10th of this month in DeKalb County, failure to appear. 2023 assault, false imprisonment. He got a CWAC charge with that arrest.
Okay.
Couple of PI charges. 2014.
I think good. I think I got that one. Thank you. All right, if we could go into that breakout, please. It'll be Mr. Thomas, myself, Ms. Kim, Ms. McLeod, Ms. Adams. Is there anyone additional who needs to join that breakout?
I do believe that the victim is on.
Well, let me speak to you. I never bring the victim in right away.
Okay.
So I'll speak to the attorneys first. All right.
Kim, what's that purge amount?
$264.
264. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's first take up position one. Larnisha Duval, we've already heard the history, and I have heard from the alleged victim, one of them in breakout. Mr. Thomas, feel free to put state's recommendation as well as a brief recitation onto the record.
Your Honor, the state's recommendation in this case is a $3,000 surety bond, $1,500 per count, a stay away from the incident location 1990 Allison Court Unit A03, a no further violent contact with Shanette Duval, and looks like Mr. Darnell Gibbs, DARNELLGIBBS, and a MHET, and then also a no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And brief facts of the case is that the victim and the defendant in this case, I believe, are mother and daughter. And it's alleged that the defendant struck the mother with a wooden stake, causing a laceration to her left forearm, and then proceeded to run into the restroom to get away. And then also throughout the incident, throughout the interaction, a second victim, Mr. Darnell Gibbs, stated that the defendant swung a belt at him. I don't know if we still need to sound for the victim as we've spoken to her in the breakout room, but I'll just go ahead and put that on the record in accordance with Marcy's law.
All right, we've already heard from the victim. So Ms. McLeod, is there anything additional you'd like to add?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, defendant is going to receive a $1,500 surety bond. It'll be $750 on each count. She's to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim, both of the alleged victims. However, she is to stay away from that incident location. She can return one time with law enforcement to get items. Additionally, she's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition, and she will be reset to state all purpose on the 2nd of November. Is there anything additional? All right. Now we'll take up the second wave case, position 9, last name Williams. We've already heard that history as well. Mr. Thomas, if you would like to give us a brief recitation as well as your recommendation.
Yeah, the recitation of the facts is that an officer was assisting a Grady security in removing a discharged patient from the hospital. That patient was later identified as the defendant. The defendant did not want to leave the location and was acting irate with everyone he encountered. While walking away from the hospital, officer witnessed the defendant kick a red Lexus ES with SES on the driver's side front door, causing damage. The car is owned by Miss Wanda Spring. The officer proceeded to place the defendant in handcuffs and was then notified by an ambulance operator, that operator being Miss Stephanie Chapman, that Mr. Williams had also thrown a glass bottle and damaged an AMERI Pro EMS ambulance with it. Upon inspection of the ambulance, the officer observed damage to the hood of the vehicle. The recommendation from the state, Your Honor, is a signature bond, a stay away from that incident location, that being Grady Hospital, unless absolutely necessary, of course. That location being 80 Jesse Hill Jr. Drive, Southeast Atlanta, Georgia. A no further contact with the victims, with the victim and the witness, Wanda Spring and Miss Stephanie Chapman, and a no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And if at this time we could sound for at least the victim, Miss Wanda Spring, in accordance with Marcy law, that'd be greatly appreciated, Your Honor.
All right, I'm sounding for Miss Chapman or Miss Spring. And I don't see either of them on the Zoom conference. Okay. Miss Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. He is 50 years old, my client is, and he was born and raised here in Georgia. And we have no objection to a signature on bond through jail as long as it is after BHET is done. Thank you.
All right. Defendant will receive a $5,000 SOB through the jail $2,500 on each count. He is to undergo a BHCT prior to his release. He additionally must stay away from that incident location, would be in Grady, unless he is receiving medical treatment there. Additionally, he is to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition of that SOB through the jail. Is there anything additional?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
All right, and Ms. Kim, perhaps he might be a good person for PAD to interview as well as part of that BH if they would accept him. All right, I believe that concludes the entire calendar. Ms. Grace, will you please review it for us?
Yes, Judge, and can we also go back to position number 1 with the MHET? Do I need to reset that to the competency calendar or for 11-2? Because we won't have that evaluation back before then. So what would you like for me to do? Put it on the SAP?
Is 11-2 a Thursday or a Tuesday?
It would be a Thursday.
Let it go to 11-2 competency. We
That's
start getting it.
Okay, that sounds like a winner to me. Thank you. Okay. Position number 1 is a $1,500 good bond. Position number, what are we gonna do, Judge? Position number 2 was on the calendar on yesterday. It's a 264 purge amount per Mr. Jordan. It has to be an order for that.
And he's paid the purge amount?
Not as of yet.
So it becomes a cash only bond, I guess. So if you want to send me a cash 265 cash only. And
Okay. Yeah, I know Michael told me, and I knew that too, but Holly didn't yesterday. That's the thing. 264 cash, okay.
Is that 265 or 264? It has it would if it's wrong, he's not gonna get out.
Okay, I get the correct amount, but I just wanted to let you know that we have to do an order per Mr. Jordan.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Okay, so position number 3, 6,000 pretrial per judge. Position number 4 is a $2,000 good bond. Position number 5 is a $4,000 pretrial bond. Position number 6 is a 4,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 7 is a 5,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 8 is a $1,500 good bond, and position number 9 is a 5,000 SOB through the jail. Any questions, concerns, or comments?
All right, hearing none, we will be in recess until tomorrow's SBA calendar. Take care, everyone, and have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.